Okay, this is almost just entirely housekeeping compared to last time where I made the big breakthrough of the file upload. And when we look at our main, we see that here we are telling it where we're going to upload the file, and it's pulling the value out of globs.upload folder. And then when we save it, we're able to use the file name that was found in the upload form. So nothing is hardwired here, and just the file that's uploaded gets dropped into /temp. Now the problem occurs down here a little bit further once you are manipulating against the local file, db local. And I actually know what file to open in a very hardwired sense. So I'm actually referring to sample.csv there, and I shouldn't have to. I am in fact rebuilding up its whole path when I, again, shouldn't have to. I should just know the full file path and have it in a single value. Now there are some challenges here, because by the time it comes into existence, up here it's in local scope. There's no global scope to let that value be referred to again later in the program. And you don't want to mess around with passing it in and out as you know, function parameters that you have to chain up so carefully. So the answer to that is to use another file. Let's see. That was, we'll be using Vim. We'll use that here. ls clear Vim globs. And all we really have to do is make a value that represents the full file path minus the file. So you'll remember there is this here. And let's actually, oh, you know, I don't need to be doing it like that. That's sort of silly. I want it loaded into the same instance of Vim. So I go tab E, globs. Now I can use GT to switch between them, although it would have been better if I did the full file name. Okay, so we already have upload folder, and that is what's found as globs.upload folder, and I believe it's only in this line. Globs. Yep, it's only there. So something is being set in that needs to be set for app.config, so that when it's referred to again, it knows where to save things. So let's path join. Okay, so the OS object is only being used for joining things. And so what we're going to be simplifying is this sort of stuff. And this is already simplified. It's been set equal to something, but we know what it's been set equal to. So we don't need to look at this rather complex looking thing, because we know it is set to globs dot upload. Or was it upload underscore folder? It's a little bit easier to look at. And let's confirm that it actually does what it's supposed to. And this is where the server's running, okay. No syntax error. cd temp ls remove sample. We'll also do that in the path cd manipulate ls remove sample out ls. Okay, let's just make that easier to look at for before and after. So we got a couple before and afters here. Empty directories in both. Well, empty directory here, no sample out here. So we choose our file, we upload it, and now we also have a sample out. I didn't mean to do that, I meant to do less. And you can see the question marks have been replaced. And on this other one, you'll see that the file upload has occurred. Now, the problem is that, why change anything? Well, you make it look a little bit more simple, but the reason to change stuff is that under DB local, I have a hardwired file here. So I want something in global so that I can carry it over here without parameters. So I just know that's going to be globs dot, I'll call it file, which makes it really nice to look next to what we can use here now, globs dot upload folder. So you are doing an OS path join on globs upload folder and globs file. Isn't that much nicer to look at? Yes, I think so too. It's also not hardwired to a particular file name, but to fix that, what we need to do is GT, and we just have to put file here. That's it. So that when we refer to it, it actually is at global scope. I guess I can initialize it, set it to empty, and GT, and now I have to put the right value in here so that it gets carried over there, and it's just found right up here when file name first exists. So now that you have file name, we don't even need to keep that concept of file name. Shift E, or no, Shift 8 shows me each place it's used. Okay, well, clearly the only place that I want to mess around with it is here. globs.file, and again down here, globs.file. Now, I should have done a before and after to show that if I deleted all the instances of sample.csv and then uploaded anything other than sample.csv, it would have failed because it's hardwired to only populate against sample.csv, but now it will populate against whatever file name we upload. So I will change this to another name, and it is now another name.csv. On Mac, sometimes the extension is hidden. You can just do that, and here is the actual file name, so you can see the real CSV there. There's a way to show extensions all the time, just the way there is on a PC, but I not bother with that for now. And we go back out here. We remove our targets on the off chance that the existence of the prior stuff will trick us into thinking it's working when it's not. We have a syntax error. Error name file is not defined, and that is in line 7 of globs. Oh yeah, that's just a GT. Seven. Line 7 of globs.py. Don't have. Well, I think file is probably a reserved keyword. Line 30, import globs, create. 7, name error. Name file is not defined. So maybe that is something that has to be brought into existence, because just stating that something equals something is the same thing as what we're doing with G key, so I just change it to file name. And probably it shouldn't be a constant, because say multiple files are handled and I do a loop of updating multiple files. So file name, it's going to be globs.filename lowercase. GT. File name. Globs.file name. Okay, let's see if it will run as a Python program again and not cause a name error. So far, so good. Looks promising. Always watch your keywords. I guess I should have known better when I chose file. Choose file, another name, pipulate, bugs everywhere. Module has no attribute file. Oh, I didn't change it one other place. Pipulate py 117. Yeah, okay. Changed it, the upper two references, but not this one. Get the start server going again. Oh, okay, it never left. It just had a runtime error, but it recovered. Oh, maybe it didn't. Yes, okay, it's still running. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another name. Well, before I upload another name, I do need to remove another name so it's a full valid test again. And I doubt there's anything here. Yep, there's not. Another name. Pipulates. I would have pipulated. You did in fact pipulate. And this is still using a hardwired sample out.csv. We will have to change that, and we've got the tools we need to change that. And over here, whoops, I just removed it. Well, removing it didn't generate an error, so there is, it was there. ls rm sample out. Okay, back to where we were. We look at the pipulate code again. I get the form back, and here is sample out, the only reference to it, but we have everything we need. We know it is. We know exactly what it is. It is this thing again, starting out from open. Everything inside of there. No, not quite. From OS path, we want everything that belongs to OS path, which is an interesting thing because the join closes here. So those things that belong to OS path end here, because that open has everything else. There, that's right. Confusing concept a little bit. I'll have to see if there's a way to make this more readable. But anyway, I yank that, I go to where I was just editing by going back in the edit history. That was a bad strategy for seeing where I needed to be. I actually want where sample out is. And then I'll hit escape, O, escape P. So at least I can put it here. And it would replace it exactly in locations. The place that it uploaded would be replaced by the new file. Do I have that right? Let's see. The way this should work, first, no errors here, an empty temp directory, no uploaded CSV in program space. And let's watch this while we go here, choose file, grab another name, pipulate, and it writes it back out into the exact same location, so I should see it here. But whereas before, if I did less another name, we would have seen question marks, but this got replaced after question mark replacement. And there it is, no question marks. This is almost usable. I can just present the link back and I'll have it actually in a usable form with virtually no file cruft, as long as I make it so that after you do a download it deletes it. Well, why? It's in the temp directory. One of the things about the temp directory is during a server reboot, I believe on most versions of Linux, the contents of the temp directory are purged and the application will be perfect now merely by me putting in a download link to that location. New web space, I believe. I will have to think about that carefully about how I implement this, because I got web space. I don't need to create new web servers, certainly not. I have 2 instances of web servers running already. But what I do want to do is put this in somewhere safe so that there's some sort of isolation between places where I put my .py files and places where CSV file uploads get put on the upload, get put after question mark replacement, and can be accessed or downloaded from clicking a link in a web browser. So I'll be thinking through that next step, but this is a great place for me to cut this video. Let me quit. Let me go to a place where we're still in that directory, ls, git, oh, and you'll see nothing was placed in web space, another good sign. Git commit unhardwired file name, and now pipulate into temp. Git push. Thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.